Welcome to Garden-Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today is the day we get to do the 10th video in my garden series for beginning gardeners. This time we're going to talk about seeds. We're going to cover whether or not you should buy transplants, and if you buy seeds, how you store them and how you take care of them. So the first question is, do you need to buy transplants or do you need to buy seeds? And that just totally depends on you. Now, if you've never gardened before and have never started seeds on your own, I would probably go to your local nursery and purchase transplants. Now, when we talk more about seed starting, we'll talk more about how soon you need to get your transplants and how soon you need to start your seeds. But when it's time to plant your garden, you can go to any of your nurseries and look at their vegetable selection and pick what they have. The pros to this is it is very easy. You don't have to have space or equipment to start seeds. And all you need to do is go to the store, purchase your seeds, come home and plant them in the garden. They're already hardened off and they're ready to go. The cons is that your choices are based on what they have at the nursery at that time. Now, there are several nurseries that have really good varieties, and you can go talk to them beforehand and find out what they're going to be planting and see which nurseries you'd like to go to purchase your transplants. So for those of you who are a little more adventuresome and have some room in your home, we're going to talk a little bit about storage of seeds. We talked about purchasing seeds earlier in this series, and I'll link the video at the top that talks about purchasing seeds, and it's in the video talking about what you want to plant. I try to purchase seeds a little earlier than this. This is mid-February, because lately seed companies tend to run out of the most popular varieties. How that's going to go in years to come, I don't know, but I think that late December, early January is the best time to get the best selection. And there's a lot of wonderful places to purchase seeds, and we've talked about a lot of that in the video that I linked above. So we're going to move on from purchasing seeds to storage of seeds. Now, how you store your seeds depends on how you're going to use them. It can run along a spectrum from really long storage, if you purchase seeds for long storage, to seeds that you're not going to keep very, very long because you're going to use them up right away. And there is also seed saving, which we're not going to cover in this video today. But for my purposes, I like to purchase seeds that are going to last no longer than 3 years. I try to only purchase what I'm going to use and then use them up as soon as possible. So there are several different ways, but let's go over best practices first. So store seeds properly, you need to think about temperature, humidity, and light. Now, if you were going to be storing your own seeds for long term, the best way to do it is to get an airtight container. You could do, like a plastic bag. You can do one of these photo storage containers. There's an excellent one that's really popular that you can either get at Michael's Crafts or you can purchase online, and that's the photo storage kit that has the little individual boxes inside of it. That looks like a lot of fun. I've thought about purchasing one of those for myself, but I have another method that I'm using, so I haven't gotten one of those. You can use one of these food containers. One thing that really helps when you're choosing containers is to make sure to choose a container where your seeds fit and they can lie sideways. Choose a container that's going to fit your largest seeds. For example, I love my Baker Creek seeds, but their packets are quite large. And they do not fit sideways very easily anyway. I mean, if I squished it, it would fit sideways in this container. But my smaller seeds fit nicely in this container. So choose a storage container that's going to fit your seeds well. And then if you're planning on storing your seeds long term, the best thing that you can do is get a desiccant. Now, I found one on Amazon that I'm showing here on the screen, and it's not the oxygen absorbers, it's the silica desiccant. And what that's going to do is remove the moisture out of your container. You really need to remove the moisture out of your container if you're going to preserve your seeds long term, because moisture can degrade the seeds. Once the moisture is removed, seal that container and you can stick it in your freezer. You can do it in your refrigerator, but refrigerators tend to be a little more humid and you're opening and closing those a lot more than you're doing in the freezer. Fluctuating temperatures can definitely affect your seeds. Now, the optimum temperature for storing seeds is between 32 and 41 degrees. Anything above 68 degrees or 70 degrees is going to start to reduce the viability of your seeds. Now, when we talk about viability of seeds, we're talking about the lifespan on them. How long are they going to last? And that is dependent, like I said, on the way you store them. You know, if you store them in optimum conditions, they're going to last the longest. If you're going to store them the way I store them, they're not going to last as long. Now, there's a lot of information online that you can Google that will talk about how long your seeds will be viable for. But I found a good one on Osborne Seeds, and I'll put the link down below so you can look that up if you would like. But it talks about how long certain seeds last. Now, seeds that last the shortest amount of times are the alliums, and that's your onions and your leeks, your chives, your shallots. Those need to be replaced every year or every 2 years if you want to have good germination rates. Parsnips are another one that don't last very long. You should replace those every year to 3 years. And surprisingly, tomatoes seem to last the longest. If they're stored in good conditions, tomato seeds can last anywhere from 3 years to 7 years. So the best way to test the germination rate on your seeds is to take a paper towel, put some seeds on it, wet it down, put it in a plastic bag, and then check them every so often and see how many of them germinate. The longest I would wait for that is whatever is listed on your seed packet. You know, check the seed packet and see how many days until germination. Most seed packets will list that. If more than half of them germinate, I think you're pretty good to go. If less than half of them germinate, I would probably get new seeds. That's just my opinion. Now I wanted to kind of go over the way I store my seeds. Now, I store my seeds in this zippered binder. Now I love the zippered binder because it does zip. It can store quite a lot of seeds. And I use these large trading card packets. So you can insert the seeds in the top, and I've divided mine up according to summer growers and winter growers, and then I have my flowers and herbs in the back of it. Then in each section I've alphabetized the seeds so I can tell exactly what I have. Each pocket will hold 1 or 2 seed packets, depending on how full they are. The beans only holds 1. And so for the ones that have thin seed packets, I'll put seeds in the front and in the back. So this has been a really good way for me to store my seeds. Now the area that I store my seeds is just in my closet here in my grow room, which is probably one of the worst areas that I could store it. It is dark, but my grow room is probably one of the hottest and most humid areas in my house. But I'm constantly pulling out my seeds to look at, to add to update my seed inventory, and I just need to access them a lot, so I decided the reduced viability is going to be better than me having to traipse all over the house looking for them. You know, I could store them downstairs where it's cool and they would store longer. And I actually do put them downstairs in a cool, dark closet during the times of year when I'm not using them as much, such as in the summer, after all my seeds have been started. So let me go over everything just in case I forgot to add something. The important parts of seed storage is number 1, choose a proper container, a container that will contain your seeds, and a system so that you can find out which seeds you have. There is nothing worse than not being able to find the seeds that you need, going out buying new ones and finding out you have 5 packets of them hidden somewhere. I do that. I used to do that a lot. I do not do that anymore. The next thing you need to think about is light. They need to be in a dark area so you don't reduce viability. They need to be in low humidity because humidity will also degrade your seed quality. And they need to be in a cool area. Optimum temperatures, as I said, were between 32 and 41 degrees. Don't let them get any higher than 70 degrees. Otherwise, you're going to greatly reduce their germination rate. Now, I would love to hear how you store your seeds. Do you have a different way of storing seeds? Have you found one way that's worked better than others? If so, please leave comments down below and let me know how you store your seeds. And I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has been helpful, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.